Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Otto Othman. ASEAN and China's collective efforts must focus on regional peace, stability, prosperity and fostering bilateral and multilateral trade relations. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said this in the face of the post-pandemic challenges, geopolitical tensions and a host of other destabilizing factors. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, said ASEAN will remain as one of the fastest growing regions in 2023, and it is vital for ASEAN and China to diversify their trade and investment strategies as the world is making progress.
ASEAN remains an attractive destination for international investment, charting an economic growth of 5.5% in 2022 with a projected 4.6% in 2023.
He said this in his opening remarks at the 20th China ASEAN Expo or CA Expo and the China ASEAN Business and Investment Summit CA Biz in Nanning today. Touching on the Expo, Datuk Seri Anwar said over the past 19 CA Expo editions, Malaysian companies have achieved commendable outcomes in China and ASEAN markets.
I am optimistic that Expo will continue to serve as a catalyst to our businessmen, fostering trade collaboration and stimulating economic recovery. The exhibition, which I look forward to see and enjoy, symbolizes the collaboration under the ASEAN-China Free Trade Agreement.
He opined that Malaysia remains supportive and commends ASEAN and China's efforts to conclude the ASEAN-China Free Trade Agreement or ACFTA 3.0 upgrade negotiations by 2024. He said the ongoing ACFTA 3.0 upgrade negotiations are pivotal for post-pandemic recovery, enhancing ASEAN-China trade and investment relations, and ensuring the free flow of goods and services. On a side note, Datuk Seri Anwar, accompanied by several Malaysian ministers, witnessed the exchange of 3 Memoranda of Understandings or MOUs worth a total of 19.84 billion ringgit between Malaysian and Chinese companies in conjunction with his one-day working visit to Nanning, China. The ministers are Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry, Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz, Minister of Local Government Development, Enga Koh Ming, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Datuk Muhammad Alamin, and Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Chan Fung Hin. Information shared by the Prime Minister's office showed that the first MOU with an estimated investment value of 15 billion ringgit was exchanged between Sita Global Berhad and Shanghai SAS Environment, in which both companies would explore the potential collaboration of developing waste-to-energy power plants, primarily in Malaysia. The second MOU, worth about 2.34 billion ringgit, was exchanged between PM Access World and Beibu Gulf Port Group. It involves the warehousing of logistics cooperation between the two companies in supporting the region's new international land-sea trade corridor to promote economic and trade cooperation between Guangxi and Malaysia. The last MOU, with a potential export value of 2.5 billion ringgit, was exchanged between Sime Darby Oils International Limited and Guangxi Beibu Gulf International Port Group. This MOU is on the cooperation of building a trading and distribution center for refined palm oil and shortening in Qingzhou, China, with an estimated annual transaction volume of 500,000 tons. China will support Putrajaya's efforts to implement the new Industrial Master Plan or NIMP 2030. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim made the remarks in a press conference in Nanning following a bilateral meeting with Chinese Premier Li Qiang. NIMP 2030 outlines plans to transform Malaysia into a high-tech nation in 7 years' time, requiring a total investment of 95 billion ringgit. According to Datuk Seri Anwar, Lee wants more Chinese companies to actively invest in Malaysia and emphasize on upskilling efforts.
Tapi yang agak ketara kekurangan ialah upskilling di peringkat tertinggi. Jadi dalam semua perbincangan termasuk dengan syarikat yang membangunkan sisi-sisi yang bangunkan ICRL Pantai Timur dan juga Jili dan hari ini juga Huawei. Semua saya tekankan syarat supaya menambahkan usaha penyidikan di Malaysia dan juga latihan khas yang harus diselenggarakan untuk anak-anak Malaysia.
Datuk Seri Anwar returns to Kuala Lumpur this evening and is expected to attend the ongoing parliamentary proceedings on Monday. Communications and Digital Ministry, KKD, expects to table the proposed amendments to the Communications and Multimedia Act in Parliament early next year. Its Deputy Minister, Teo Ni Ching, said the law, formulated in 1998, was being reviewed by agencies under the ministry through engagements with relevant stakeholders. Explaining further, Teo said the ministry feels it is time for a review of the law to ensure the existing provisions are adequate to take action against any type of offence, particularly cybercrimes. She added that the proposed amendments will include increasing the responsibility of service providers.
Service provider, mereka tak boleh cakap bahawa I'm just a platform. Tetapi apa yang mereka guna pakai platform kita buat apa-apa pun itu bukan tanggungjawab saya. I don't think that is we don't think that is the right approach. Jadi kami nak pastikan bahawa to what extent platform provider mereka boleh dipertanggungjawabkan.
Teo also stated that there is proof that artificial intelligence AI is being misused in cases such as scamming. She said, for instance, scammers can use AI to mimic a person's voice and appearance to fool family members and close friends. On another note, Teo said the Ministry of Communications and Digital will expand the installation of the Starlink satellite devices in Sabah and Sarawak, especially in rural areas. Now, she said 2 of the devices were installed in Bau and Julau in Sarawak this month. The Deputy Minister said with this addition, 7 Starlink devices have been installed, including Johor, Perak, Selangor and Negeri Sembilan. She said 10 units of the devices will be as proof of concept to evaluate its feasibility before its use is expanded further. As for the remaining 3 satellite devices, the ministry plans to install them in Sabah and is in the midst of identifying the locations to install the devices.
Dan kami akan memperluaskan lagi pembangkaian ataupun pemasangan unit peranti Starlink di Sarawak dan juga Sabah kerana tempat-tempat banyak tempat di Sabah dan Sarawak merupakan kawasan pendalaman.
Teo further noted that the installation of the devices in Sabah and Sarawak was a temporary solution, as it was difficult to install fiber optic cables and other cables, especially in the interior areas. She said the cost of installing the device, as well as the monthly payments, will be borne by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission for 1 year. 25 individuals involved in the Save Malaysia rally held in Kuala Lumpur yesterday have been identified and will be summoned by police to provide their statements. Deputy Inspector General of Police Datuk Seri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said 5 of them, including 1 elected representative, have been summoned to go to Dang Wangi District Police Headquarters tomorrow. Datuk Seri Ayub Khan said those involved in yesterday's rally had failed to comply with the regulations by not sending prior notice to the police in a proper format as required under the Peaceful Assembly Act 2012.
Memang tidak perlu permit, tapi dia orang perlu menyampaikan notis. Dalam notis tu ada lebih kurang 14 perkara, jadual 14 perkara yang perlu dipatuhi. Contohnya nak kena minta kebenaran dekat pemilik kawasan tersebut, di mana akan dibuat penghimpunan tersebut, kan. Jadi bila tidak dinyatakan dengan jelas, ini menyukarkan pihak polis untuk membuat kawalan. Bayangkan sekejap dia buat dekat masjid Kampung Bau, sekejap dekat Sopo, sekejap dekat ni. Jadi kita perlu mengatur gerak anggota dan pegawai kita untuk memastikan kawalan keselamatan
Briefing reporters today, he said that the case would be investigated under the Peaceful Assembly Act 2012. Yesterday, about 1,000 participants gathered at Masjid Jamek Kampung Baru before marching to the Sogo shopping complex. Coming up in our foreign segment, 8 injured in Oktoberfest roller coaster incident. Eight people were slightly injured in an accident on an indoor roller coaster ride at Munich's Oktoberfest in Germany. Police reported that 2 cars collided on Saturday evening, the first day of the 18-day festival. Police said the ride, called Holland Blitz or Hell's Lightning, remains closed pending further investigation. Medics said most of the wounds were bruises and that the 3 people were taken to hospital for further evaluation. Ride director Willie Ottens told the media that one of the trains was stationary when an approaching train slowly rolled back for unknown reasons. He said each of the trains was occupied by about 30 people, adding that there was a slight collision between the 2 trains and all of the people got off the ride on their own. The famous Oktoberfest beer festival takes place annually in Munich, drawing millions of national and international visitors to the Bavarian capital for several weeks in September and October. The festival grounds include numerous carnival rides. Now, according to Ottens, Hell's Lightning is the world's largest traveling indoor roller coaster. Libyan authorities will conduct an investigation and prosecute those whose negligence caused dams to collapse in the eastern city of Derna during heavy rains if they are proven guilty. The Justice Minister of the Parliament-appointed government based in Sept, Khalid Masoud Al-Mudir, said if it is proven that those responsible for the condition of the dams through an error or negligence did not inspect or repair them, they will be criminally liable, regardless whether they are leaders of the Derna municipality or persons from the previous government. He said the prosecutor's office will carry out all legal procedures and take it upon itself to find out whether there was a mistake or negligence in order to take measures against the recurrence of such incidents. Libyan authorities will also investigate the reason some foreign companies did not monitor the condition of dams in the east of the country, despite maintenance contracts concluded in 1999, 2007 and 2008. Torrential rain hit Libya on September 10th, brought by Storm Danielle. They caused destructive flooding in the country's east, where the cities of Susa and Derna were declared natural disaster zones. 2 dams broke in the mountains above the port of Derna, washing away large areas of the city of 100,000 people. Fighting between Russia and Ukraine went on as the 2 sides continued to attack each other's military targets, including drones, port facilities, and air defense system. In the battle report released on Monday, the Russian Defense Ministry said over the past week, its troops had repelled the Ukrainian attack in directions of Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kupiansk. They struck various Ukrainian targets, including military port infrastructure, unmanned boat factory, arsenal, and military airport. Meanwhile, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces issued a war report yesterday, saying that in the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian army launched airstrikes on Russian command posts, air defense missile system, and personnel and equipment positions as the battle continues in Bakhmut and Marinka. The Defense Ministry noted that the Ukrainian army also attacked the Russian Buk missile system. Today, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed to shoot down 2 Ukrainian drones on the west coast of Crimea at about 1:15 a.m. local time and shot down another drone in Moskovskaya Oblast at 1:45 a.m. local time. Next up in sports, Hong Kong Open heartbreak for Pearly and Tina. Malaysian women's doubles pair Pearly Tan and M. Tina began brightly before fading away en route to succumbing to 21-14, 22-24, 9-21 to Indonesia's Ariani Rahayu and Sita Fadia Silva Radanti in the final of the Hong Kong Open Badminton Championships today. 21, 21-15 in the final of the 2022 French Open last October. The Olympic Council of Malaysia, OCM, will wait for the full report from the National Sports Institute, or NSI, regarding the condition of national track cycling ace Dato' Muhammad Azizul Hasni Awang, who sustained minor injuries in an accident during training yesterday. OCM Secretary General Dato' Muhammad Nazifuddin Najib said the 35-year-old cyclist is still in high spirits ahead of his quest to win a medal in the 2022 Hangzhou Asian Games in China. He said he was informed that Dato' Muhammad Azizul Hasni will undergo a checkup tomorrow at the National Sports Institute.
Kalau cycling pun memang ada high risk sport juga. Kita pun tahu kadang ada berlaku keadaan di mana tergelincir atau jatuh. Tapi nasib baik dalam keadaan ini bukan jatuh yang kritikal. Cuma yang luka tu luka kulit, dan kita nampak dia boleh buat recovery yang baiklah sebelum dia bertanding.
Dato' Muhammad Asifuddin said this at the flag-off ceremony for the national contingent to the Hangzhou Asiad at the National Sports Council in Bukit Jalil. Yesterday, Dato' Muhammad Azizul Hasni, nicknamed the Pocket Rocket Man, shared a video clip on his Facebook page showing the high-speed accident which occurred when he was undergoing training at the National Velodrome in Nilai in preparation for the Asian Games. Tanjung Bidara's status as a renowned vacation destination will be restored through various measures, including the development of extreme sports recreation parks. Melaka Chief Minister Dato' Sri Abdul Rauf Yusof said various programs and extreme sports activities will be organised to attract youth and extreme sports enthusiasts to visit and choose Tanjung Bidara as their preferred destination.
Dalam kita cuba merencana dan merangkakan program untuk menjadikan kawasan ini sebagai kawasan extreme park untuk anak muda. Dan juga pelbagai aktiviti anak muda, umpamanya litar, lumba, kereta, remote control bertaraf antarabangsa juga akan kita bina di sini. Jadi kita akan ada caravan park untuk mengembalikan semula kegebilangan Tanjung Bidara sejak zaman 70-an dulu.
Dato' Sri Abdul Rauf said this in line with the preparations to enhance and improve the quality of tourism products in conjunction with Visit Malacca Year 2024. He also advised the public to fully utilize the sports and recreational facilities provided by relevant agencies and organizations throughout the state. Coming up in our business segment, Malaysia continues to support developing countries to accelerate Agenda 2030. Now, the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, MITI, expects approved investments to record stronger growth in the second half of this year, on track to hit its annual target after achieving 132.6 billion ringgit worth of approved investments in the first half of the year. For the first 6 months period, Malaysia attracted a total of 132.6 billion ringgit worth of approved investments in the services, manufacturing and primary sectors, involving 2,651 projects, and is expected to create 51,853 job opportunities in the country. Minister Tengku Dato' Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said in a statement that the investments are a vote of confidence in Malaysia's economy and its offerings to investors, including a government that supports and develops pro-business policies and continuously enhances the ease of doing business in Malaysia. He said the achievement in the first half of this year represents 60.3% of the annual target. It closely mirrors the nation's 10-year average of 222.6 billion ringgit, emphasizing the government's consistent efforts in attracting quality investments and driving economic growth. The minister said Malaysia is also a trusted hub for the ecosystem, supply chain, capital and talent, flows of goods and data, and growing innovation capabilities. As various global supply chains shift to Asia, the government's key aim is to position Malaysia as a regional hub for both international companies and the entrepreneurs seeking to expand their footprint in Asia. Malaysia will continue to play its role in supporting developing countries, particularly in the Global South, in the commitment towards Agenda 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir said as one of the founding members of the G77 group, Malaysia takes great pride in progress achieved by G77 plus China in addressing critical issues for developing countries. Acknowledging the widening gap between developing and developed nations, Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri emphasized the need to strengthen the collective commitment and responsibility between the Global South and North. He said Malaysia stands ready to work closely with G77 plus China and its members in the collective efforts towards sustainable economic development, security and prosperity. He noted that Malaysia has reaffirmed its commitment to South-South cooperation through the renewal of the terms of cooperation with the International Science, Technology and Innovation Centre for South-South Cooperation, or ISTIC, in Kuala Lumpur. So far, ISTIC KL has contributed to the cooperation through more than 30 STI training programs with strategic partners, benefiting more than 1,000 participants from nearly 100 countries. Malaysia also launched the Malaysia Open Science Platform in May, aimed at fostering an open science culture, making scientific research and data accessible to all. A 50,000 hectare site has been identified in Sabah and Sarawak for rice planting, according to Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Now, he said the matter had been agreed in principle by Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, but its implementation would require some time. He said the allocation issued by the Ministry of Rural and Regional Development needs to be coordinated with the Sarawak Ministry of Modernisation of Agriculture, and the landowner's consent is required, especially when it involves customary land.
Pada prinsipnya, Yang Berhormat Premier Sarawak telah bersetuju dan mengenal pasti kawasan-kawasan yang luas. Tetapi dari segi pelaksanaannya, ianya memerlukan sedikit waktu kerana peruntukan yang kita akan koordinasikan dengan Kementerian Pertanian dan juga soal persetujuan daripada tuan punya tanah, terutamanya tanah anak negeri, tanah NCR.
Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid, who is also the Minister of Rural and Regional Development, said this after the Santuni Rakyat program at Sekolah Kebangsaan Haji Bujang, Sebangan near Subuyau, Sarawak. He said that residents in the rural and interior areas must be given priority for any development project, especially in Sarawak itself, where the rural population is about 1.4 million. At the event, Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid also announced a 10 million ringgit allocation for the construction of a Giat Mara Centre in Sebangan this year. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof suggested the Ministry of Finance and the Works Ministry to use the pre-qualified tender procurement method in the selection of contractors for the Pan-Borneo Highway project. He said the use of the method would ensure the reliability of contractors appointed and thus would not affect the highway construction process.
Sebab kadar perolehan, kalau kita membuat open tender, ianya akan mengambil masa. Pertamanya, kita kalau tenderer yang masuk banyak, maka penilaian itu lebih makan masa.
Datuk Seri Fadilah explained that the contractors who meet the criteria will be identified and those who qualify will be called to enter the actual tender. Datuk Seri Fadilah, who is the coordinator for the Pan-Borneo Highway project, said he was making the suggestion to expedite the construction of the highway, which involves a total of distance of 1,492 kilometers. In his speech in conjunction with Malaysia Day 2023 yesterday, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim vowed to fulfill the promises and agreements made during the formation of Malaysia and had tasked Datuk Seri Fadilah to expedite and resolve issues surrounding the Pan-Borneo Highway project. More direct international flights to Ipoh will be introduced in conjunction with Visit Perak 2024, according to Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Sarani Muhammad. He said as of now, there are 3 direct flights from Singapore to Ipoh daily, and plans are underway to introduce more direct international flights from Asian countries to the state capital. He said negotiations are ongoing with airline companies to introduce the direct flights, following demand from frequent flyers. He said the number of tourists coming to Perak also expected to increase next year, stressing on the need to add more direct international flights.
Ada, tapi kita tak boleh umum lagi sebab dia perlu mendapat kebenaran MOT. Tapi kita sedang berbincang dengan beberapa syarikat penerbangan untuk menjadikan pelancong-pelancong daripada luar tidak perlu ke KLIA dulu. Dia boleh terus direct to Ipoh.
He said this to reporters after attending Carnival Mesra Anak Muda at Indra Mulia Stadium in Ipoh. On August 13th, the state government held discussions with the Thai Travel Agents Association regarding the flight route from Ipoh to Bangkok. State Tourism Industry Investment and Corridor Development Committee Chairman Lo Ziji said that this was due to airlines in Thailand actively promoting various tour packages to attract tourists from that country to Perak. Well, that concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, ASEAN-China free trade talks crucial for post-pandemic recovery. Now, do tune in to updates at noon coming up tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on TV2. Till then, I'm Otto Othman, Malaysia Madani. Tegak perpaduan, penuhi harapan. Thanks for watching.